Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who substitute light for dark, dark for light, bitter for sweet, sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes. Yes, it's Isaiah 5:20, and I've said it again because that's all you see when you get into the news today. Joe Biden, Department of Defense granting $500 million annually to the study of women's health. What does that even mean, coming from a party who says that men can become women? What does that mean to study women's health? They want to look for ways to, help or prevent ovarian cancer, the musculoskeletal differences, to help prevent rheumatoid arthritis. But what does that even mean? It's like you rely on science when it's convenient, and other times you don't. You've got different academies of medicine, of doctors agreeing and not agreeing on what's right to experiment on children. You've got the pediatrics, the American Academy of Pediatrics, putting their full support behind adolescent kids having sex change operations and being put on hormone blockers and all these things. Meanwhile, you got the Plastic Surgeons Association, who knows full well what it's like to alter one's body, and not only the physical effects that it has, but psychological, mental, all these other things that happen when you start messing with God's creation. We are all God's creation, and we're all created differently but equally, and we're all equally valuable. This world wants to place so much value on physical beauty and how our feelings are in the moment, and all of those things are being dictated and manipulated by the masses. I may be a broken record, but again, there's stuff out there every day. Every day I get in the headlines and I see more of the same, and it's just constant. You watch movies, it's always the same thing. The corrupt individuals create a lie, they create an agenda, they spread that lie, and then everybody that's in support of that either spreads it knowingly, or a lot of times, even worse, is when it spreads organically because people believe the lie. I heard somebody repeat a line from George Costanza on a classic episode of Seinfeld, where he said, "Remember, Jerry, if you believe it, it's not a lie." So a lot of these people in control, they convince themselves that what they're saying is true, and that's how they have such conviction and passion. Some of them really do think it's true because they've been convinced by other people, like the blind leading the blind. But I'd say, how is it possible we got so far from reality? But it's very simple. Satan is the god of this world. He's deceived the minds of those who don't believe. When you realize it's a spiritual battle, it's a spiritual attack, and we're in it every day, and if we're blind to it, we're not able to fight back. And when we are able to fight back, then we have the whole supernatural forces truly of evil working against us, because you're either a conspiracy theorist or a nut job or an overzealous Christian or Jesus freak. They skew the lines of truth of what love is in sharing truth, eternal truth, with love and grace and patience, because they can easily put people up on a pedestal and promote them as the typical when they are the outlier. And oftentimes those outliers are controlled infiltrants. If you're paying attention to the January 6th trials, like they've been having hearings on this. They started an investigation as to FBI informants or FBI agents who were part of the crowd, who were dressed up as part of the crowd, over 100, and they helped instigate things. They wanted to instigate people who otherwise would have been there peacefully to create havoc, to create chaos. And that's what this world is made of. And it's been almost 4 years since the last election, and they still haven't come out with their investigation findings, and they justify it because, oh, there's still criminal investigations as part of January 6th. Many of the so-called offenders from that day, one of which, Jake Lang, who we had on Truth Radio, almost a year ago, he did 1,000 days. He never saw a courtroom. There's no justice being served. He was trying to help protect somebody who was getting stampled on. I don't even know if that's a word. Trampled on. And he got arrested, and they said he was resisting arrest and all this. And there's so many situations like that. But if people knew that there was actually instigators in the crowd and they were working for the government, do you think that would change the way they view things? But woe to those who call evil good and good evil. Woe to those who know what they're doing and are intentionally inflaming the masses by distorting the truth of who is in the right and who is in the wrong. And that's what this world is flooded with. Seek Jesus today. That's the only way. That's the only life raft that will actually save you. So I pray this finds you well. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.